Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watch One. Thanks for logging on. Today we are looking at a X Series Rolex Oyster Perpetual Day-Date in 18-karat yellow gold. You can see this classic 36mm Day-Date on our website, watchyowant.com. Purchase it there, and if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Watch You Want Inc. You can also click the card in the upper right-hand corner of this video at any time to go to our full listing for this watch with photograph, additional accessories, and of course, full pricing. Now on my wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference, this 18-karat yellow gold wonder really stands out. 36mm across the round of the case. It is traditionally sized, the same proportions we've seen on the Rolex Day-Date since its 1956 debut, and when a watch achieves truly iconic status, Rolex knows well enough not to mess with the essentials. Now the watch is 12.5mm thick, but it's really an easy to wear 12.5 that slips under any kind of dress cuff or long sleeves, principally because the case back is cupped. It has a bit of a bowl shape to it, so it nestles down when you buckle the clasp. It also has a sloped bezel and a sloped sapphire, so a dress cuff or a tight sleeve can easily ride up and over this quintessential dress watch. Now, lug-to-lug span can really be measured from two vantage points. The first is, of course, literally one lug to the opposite extremity of the other lug. That'll give you a measurement of 44mm. Quite compact. Now, it does expand a little bit when one counts the solid end links of the Rolex President bracelet. In that case, the watch will measure 47mm from lug to lug, still quite compact. One can wear this watch securely on a wrist perhaps as small as 13.5 centimeters with security and style. Now, what you do get is a tremendous amount of heft. For one thing, the 3-link President bracelet is wonderfully substantial with solid end links and a very robust crown clasp. It's also worth mentioning that Rolex, which continues to use solid casebacks to this day on its Oyster Professional line, gives you that solid gold caseback that adds impressive heft to this watch relative to a more contemporary sapphire style piece. So you're getting more precious metal, you're getting more gold, and you can really feel it. Now, the President is a wonderful middle ground between the 3-link Oyster bracelet, sports watch style, and the 5-link, more delicate Jubilee dress bracelet. This is a 3-link design, but because the links are very small, it has a silken feel on the wrist, and you can see on the bottom, there's plenty of spacing between the individual links to avoid pulling hair or pinching skin. So it does have that silky feeling of the Jubilee, but with a little bit more substance to it, reminiscent of the Oyster, and in full gold, it's very impressive in the hand. This watch, eyes closed, weighs like something far larger, far, far larger. Now, the President is in fact the bracelet. The Day-Date's often called the Rolex President or Presidential. That's unofficial simply because so many famous men who occupy the White House have worn this model. But the reality is that it is the bracelet itself that's called the President, and it is the crown clasp that defines it. The crown clasp is ultra-low profile, the only clue as to the parting point being the 5-point Rolex coronet. Unlike the Oyster bracelets, which feature large, bulky, stamped, or these days, milled-out clasps, the crown clasp is very discreet. But then again, the entire watch is understated. At 36mm, this watch doesn't overpower in full gold. Colored gold is very powerful. Above 40mm, it can become overwhelming, but in a 36mm tried and true timeless style, it works perfectly, and it has a couple of aesthetic enhancements, courtesy of unique finishing on the bezel and the President bracelet. What you're looking at here is what's known as an engine-turned or machine-turned bezel. It has a unique striated look with regular separate indices that essentially define the watch as one of those rare cases where Rolex departs from its smooth or fluted bezel MO. Moreover, pun intended, you can see that the center links of the President bracelet feature what's known as a bark finish. It's rusticated. It's almost like the 1970s interest in rusticated or brutalist sort of distressed concrete expression in architecture. It's very much in that vein. It creates a little bit of dissonance, a little bit of chaos amid the regularly finished brushed outer links. So rather than going with a polished look, Rolex creates that dissonance, that disturbance, that little bit of visual asymmetry that breaks up the monotony of all this colored gold. It's intriguing, it's compelling, and it works beautifully with a dial that is itself a bit unconventional. Sunburst Champagne, it is a golden tone, sunburst pattern with a very delicate, subtle grain radiating out from the hands at center. It is the positioning of the 18-karat yellow gold polished Arabic numerals that defines the character of this watch, in conjunction with a very subtle railroad outboard seconds and minute track. Now, it does feature stepped dials for both the day and the date, and this being an X series watch manufactured in 1991, it features all of the refinements that have been added to the watch over the years. In 1971, the Day-Date got a hacking function. In 1978, it got a single quick set. And in 1988, the R series, the watch received what's known as the double quick set, or the ability to cycle both the day and the date quickly without having to manically spin the hands to correct the watch should it run down. Now inside, the double quickset caliber 3155 features 31 jewels. It is automatic winding and a COSC certified chronometer. It does feature hacking seconds. It does feature the double quickset. It also features a full balance bridge. That is to say, the balance wheel has an anchor on each side to provide stability, and it features a handmade Breguet overcoil hairspring so that regardless of what position the watch is laid down on your dresser at night, or any position it may sit on the wrist, it's going to be able to maintain outstanding precision. So it's largely shock resistant, but also positionally resistant. And because this is one of the more contemporary generations of Day-Date, it does feature 100-meter water resistance when the crown is screwed down. So although the X Series 1991 is increasingly beginning to be seen as something of a vintage reference, it is nevertheless modern everyday wearable. With a 28,800 vibration per hour movement, a sapphire crystal, and 100-meter water resistance, you can wear this watch without any concerns that may accompany a true vintage piece and the delicacies associated with those. This is a fantastic starter for someone who's looking for a vintage Rolex or simply wants to buy his first Day-Date. You can see this Rolex Oyster Perpetual Day-Date in 18-karat yellow gold with engine-turned bezel and bark center links on our website, watchyouwant.com.